Welcome to Nexus Edge, the show that will help you get an edge on your competition. My name is Turd Herder, and I am your esteemed host of Nexus Edge. This is going to be episode 12, and if you're tuning in right now, then you already know that this is going to be our extra special grand finale edition of Nexus Edge. And, well, it's going to be live. So heck it. Let's do it live, boys. So today, I'm joined by my stupendous panel. So starting at the top, we have our regular panelist, Ziltoid. And someone has echo, so I can hear everything I'm saying about a second too late. But with our other panelist, I have Whoa No.
I was going to throw a swear word out there, but you already said heck, so I think we reached our limit.
Yeah, that's it. PG-13.
That's it, PG-13.
Yeah. I did pretty good on the intro. No mess ups this time. So there we go. And guys.
He always messes up. Yeah. Literally every time.
Don't reveal his secrets. We're doing great.
Guys, for this edition of Nexus Edge, we have been joined by a very special guest. Probably the person who asks the most questions in the Edge Questions channel. It's Valkamer.
Hello, everybody out there.
Yes. So how does it feel to be on Nexus Edge Live?
It feels great until my wife comes through that door behind me and tells me why I'm not helping out with bedtime rituals. So know that I will have a pause in a little bit.
Hey, we're all doing it live. We're going to have some people come through our doors. We're going to have moms. We're going to have kids. It's going to be great. Yeah. So, Val, what team were you on this season in NGS?
I'm the tank player of Can't Counterpick Stupid. We are in Division C West. We are the number 2 seed is where we ended up, and we fell in the finals. But it was our best season. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of great games, and we really appreciate NGS for keeping us around, even with me playing the heel of Division C. And if chat today has anything to say about it, probably the heel of NGS at this point.
I literally picked every team to beat them.
Yeah.
After today's discussion and suggestions, probably.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
I appreciate that. And at some point, we will probably be able to prove to you that we are a worthy team. And I get that. You got to have the consistency.
I mean, you did. I mean, the results were there. Fuel on the fire, man. Prove me wrong. That's how you get better. There you go.
So, but no, and it was a joke around our camp with that. But at the end of the day, it truly didn't hurt our feelings. But we really appreciated the people then rooting for the CCS team after we looked like we were going to get upset and then came back and won the reverse sweep.
Well, and speaking of shout-outs, want to give a quick shout-out to Valk's mom. That's from our buddy Calatorn in chat. So thank you very much. Well, does your mom have a stream? That's the next question.
Not at all.
Yeah.
My mom has never watched anything short of me showing her where I shout out to her at the end of a match if we're getting interviewed. And that spread to Celadorn saying it, and then it spread a little bit more. I think Arrows said it. I've got people to say it live during the matches. I think I got Slexia or Murda to say it once. So
it's just a big old meme.
By next season, I expect my mom to be the most famous person in all of NGS, perhaps second to Aura. I'm okay with that.
There we go.
Is it too late to vote for your mom for the Heart and Soul games of Div C? Because I would like to nominate her.
My mom would probably die to minions, not even towers, the whole game.
She would die to her own fountain, just walking the other way.
If we can get a stream of my mom playing Pac-Man or Mrs. Pac-Man, guarantee everybody will enjoy it.
There we go. All right, guys, and talking about streaming, as you know, this is our live episode. We are going to try our very best to keep this moving along and interacting with you guys out there in the chat. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in there. We'll try and keep track, and hopefully we'll get your questions asked as they come in or at the very end. So before we move on, I wanted to do a quick shout out to Patreon, and I'm going to do it correct. It is patreon.com /Heroes Nexus Gaming Series. I did it.
It's on fire! It's on fire today!
I had to write it down. So
how many times did you practice, Turd?
Two, because I had to write it down.
Okay.
I tried remembering it, and then I was like, I gotta go look it up. So, anyways, guys, so that's the Patreon. If you are not a member of the Patreon, please consider donating and helping NGS with your donations. They do great things, including run this organization. The websites aren't free, much to my surprise. So that helps them keep the lights on, if you will. And it's a great cause. I'm getting a mouse pad soon. Really excited about that. And there's all kinds of fun things for you to check out. So keep that in mind. And let's move on to the next topic. Let's discuss some cool things that we did this past week in the Nexus. I think all of us were on the bench, so it might be a pretty quick one. But Ziltoid, go ahead. Why don't you start us out? What did you do this past couple weeks?
I just did a couple casts and just played some other video games. Practiced a bit with our team. That's about it.
I pretty much did the same thing. Played a little Hearthstone. If my Hearthstone team is in the chat, shout out to you guys. BDSM, big decks, small mechs. So it's a lot of fun. I'm not doing very great in the league. I am 0-3, but having a lot of fun. And playing Heroes of the Storm with the Nexus Cats, of course, whenever I can. So,
aren't you guys in Zul'jin Distillery?
Yeah, we're doing real good in Zul'jin Distillery. We feel real strong. We've kind of gone back to our roots a little bit, which sounds weird, because I don't know if I knew what my roots were, but that's what we keep saying in chat, and it seems to be working, so we'll keep it going. Wono, how about you? You have is it the Tournament of Plebs?
Yes, this week is the kickoff week for Wono and Mongoose's Pleb Fiesta, the just for fun tournament that Mongoose and I are running for some Division B and Division C teams. Our first game was supposed to be last night, and it didn't quite work out how we wanted. One of the teams completely forgot they were playing and didn't show up, but things are still looking good. And on top of that, I was invited by Murda to join the Nexus Now podcast boys. So very exciting. Very excited to be on the podcast with them. So
I'm going to hear you in my ear holes.
You're going to hear me more than just today. I'm everywhere.
I can't wait.
So I think they were getting around to editing it today. So look forward to that in the near future. Shout
out to Jackster and the boys. So Valkamer, what are you doing? Catching up on Nexus Now, hopefully?
I will be now. I can't say that I have. But in going back to my roots, I can say that I've been playing a lot of Muradin this week. There was a loss that we took where I was told that I was too limited of a hero pool in my tanks, and so I am adding new layers. And so Muradin has been fun. I love the Muradin changes. I still am not super amped on why you should take Sledgehammer, but as far as Bronzebeard Rage at 13 giving you passive healing, great, I'll take it. It's a blast.
Very nice. All right. I think that's it, guys. All right, let's move on to the first topic of the week here. We're going to go over the top 5 played heroes from all of NGS. Every single division, league, etc. We're going to go ahead and give it a quick chat. Wono, why don't you start us out here if you are ready to go?
I believe I am ready to go here. That's
good.
So just list off number 1, or?
Yeah, why don't you list off all top 5 and then we'll discuss them.
Okay. So assuming I'm reading off the correct list, we have sitting at number 1 spot, Anubarak, number 2, Diablo, number 3, Johanna, number 4, Anna, and number 5, Jaina. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's the right one, I think.
That's
so
the right one.
What pops up at you the most about this list?
So first impressions, top 3 by a fairly decent margin, all tanks that we've discussed ad nauseum this entire season.
Yeah.
But just to touch on that, I think it speaks volumes to both the amount of tanks that are in the game as well as the amount of viable tanks, or maybe viable is not the right word because all tanks are pretty much viable, but the amount of like top tier tanks, because
Right.
there's very clearly a pretty wide gulf between these three. Sometimes you lump Garrosh in there 4, and then the rest of the tank pool.
So, Valkamer, what about you? You're a tank player. So, are these your 3 top picks? Do you differ from these?
I am not much of a Diablo player. I just have never gotten into him. I've practiced quite a bit with him early on in the season, out in quick match and such, but where we have another player that usually picks that and that moves me to a bruiser role, I don't really play Diablo. I think that there's stronger tanks that people have forgotten how to play against, where Diablo, shoot, he charges, take a root or a knockback, and then what does he do?
For sure. And one thing that popped out at me was the number of games that Joanna had. So Joanna played 443 games. That's craziness. That's a popularity of 73.6%, but it's only banned 4 times, or 1 out of every 4 times, so 25%. So that means she's being played in over 340 matches all season. Ziltoid, what is that to be expected out of Joanna?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear you, bud.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Johanna is, of all the tanks, she kind of encompasses the core idea of what that role is supposed to be.
Right.
You know, you're supposed to be able to soak up damage, control engagements, find targets to pick, which you can do with the heroic, and just generally be that front line that's hard to get through. And I think Johanna, especially even after the last little buff to her hold her ground,
So good.
really encompasses this mentality of the hero. Diablo and Anub'arak are about a lot more about aggression. They have their peel tools and their stun chains and stuff like that. But Johanna really kind of incorporates the all-rounder. She can do both aggressive and defensive plays that really help the team. And I think she's just one of those heroes that it's easier for tanks, especially new tanks, to really kind of get an idea of what they should be doing within the role.
Right.
She's far more forgiving than a lot of the other tanks. You know, you mentioned Diablo and Anub'arak. Well, if you use your charge in on Anub'arak, there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exposed in all your glory.
Your shield will get burned. If you took the Carapace at level 4, maybe you can run away quickly, but you're there. Joe, you can get so many tools to have that forgiven, and you can't get out of position as quickly as Diablo and Anub'arak can.
Absolutely. And Ana making it as the top support and number 4 overall, I don't think was super surprising. She's getting about a 1/3 ban, it looks like. So, well, you play a little bit of Ana, right?
When she's not banned, I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Any other things to talk about? Well, one last thing I have. Which of these heroes were from the most popular last season? Do you remember in episode 0 we did?
Definitely not Ana. Definitely
Jaina
I
was on that
it-
list, I'm pretty certain, and so
I
was
think-
Johanna.
and Diablo. I think Diablo,
Yeah.
Joe, and Jaina were all in the top 5. I think we also had Muradin.
Yeah.
And
Who's not on this list at all.
And Deckard. Deckard rounded out the 5th.
Yes, Deckard was the number
Yeah.
1 support. So
Joe was very popular last season for Division C as well. Again, she's an all-around. She's forgiving. Division C needs that.
see, what about Division D, man?
There is no hope.
Yeah. All right. I think that's enough to talk about the heroes. Why don't we talk about the top map choices here? Kind of an interesting little spread. Ziltoid, why don't you give it to us?
Sorry, what?
Maps.
All right. The top
Maps.
top maps.
Got it. For some reason, I didn't hear it.
It's all good, my dude. We're just hecking it, doing it live.
So Infernal Shrines was the one with the most amount of games played, a staggering 185. That's just insane. In fact, I think all top maps really were pretty, those are definitely like the key ones that everyone was going after. I think Infernal Shrines tends to take the cake because it's I would say it's probably one of the more balanced maps, one of the easier ones to learn. Where you need to be, what you need to be doing. The objective is very clear and concise. How you should play around it is pretty straightforward. Volskaya taking up the number 2 spot, I think is also popular for a lot of the same reasons, but I always feel like Volskaya is a harder map. I think it can be more punishing to some degree. Maybe not as maybe because the early game isn't as intense. Although I will point out that Infernal Shrine's early game is a lot worse now. Or I mean, I wouldn't say worse, but it's more intense, especially if you get frozen punishers right off the bat, because you can actually lose forts off that. So I think until that changed, Volskaya really had one of those kind of, you had to play well in the early game, but even if you fell behind, as long as you managed to handle your soak and didn't get too far behind in levels, you could kind of make a comeback happen by the second or third protector.
Yeah, I think on that one, if you can get that Div C, or not Div C, sorry, the Point C protector, I've seen so many games where it seems like that just goes the other way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the same observation that you guys had.
Oh, yeah. And this season, I'd actually say it was even like, so many times you thought that the third protector was going to be the nail in the coffin, and it ended up not being. Like, even if they did manage to get it, something would go wrong, and then all of a sudden we're looking at, fourth objective and stuff like that, maybe even fifth objective before the game was even ending, which is why I think it also had the longest average time spent on the map at 19 minutes and 46 seconds.
Right.
At 30 minutes and 49 is the longest game they had. Although there was one Tomb of the Spider Queen game that was much longer than that, but it was literally just one.
I've seen that one. I think that was a Div D game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that thing took
30. So for everyone, that was 34 minutes for Tomb of the Spider Queen game. Val, go ahead. What do you got to add to this one?
I think our game with ginormous Jaegers on Tomb was 29, 30 minutes also. Neither team had keeps. I mean, it came down to somebody getting caught out, and I've tormented him enough this season, so I won't say that anymore. But that's what it came down to, was a team fight and a staggered death. It was a long match.
That's pretty long. I think so. Here's just a side question: what's the longest game you've ever played? I think I know mine. 48.
Infernal Shrines, 48 minutes.
Holy cow!
I didn't even know that was possible.
What is this, a real MOBA like Dota or something?
We were playing unranked. We went in there, and we had a keep down, they had a keep down on us, and they just never finished. So we slowly got everything else back and won the game. It was a stupid comp. We shouldn't have won. 48 minutes in an unranked game on Shrines.
Yeah. Mine was 42.
Those are the games where you're like, I don't even care if I lose. Just
get me out of this.
No, so mine, I'm just going to bring it up really quickly because it's pertinent. Mine was Infernal Shrines as well. 42 or 43 minutes. And it was with Arthanel only, not the Nexus cats. And we got to about minute 40. And we had just been trading team fights. We finally had all the lanes pushed in. And he gets up and goes and just leaves the game, just sitting there right in the middle in some clouds. And we lost because he couldn't help push his 5. And it was just a really bittersweet ending. So shout out to Arthanel, I guess. Thanks, bud.
I think this season we had a scrim with 10 armor that went 32, 33 minutes. And we were ready to pull our hairs out after that.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy.
Oh my god, it was on Volskaya.
Yep.
Which again, it was another one of those situations where it's just you can't, for some reason, find that end because it's just the way the map's designed. If you don't get the value out of those objectives, it can just drag on. And that's actually what Jason constantly kind of talks about, where he says Volskaya has too much downtime between the objectives, because that is kind of what happens is once the objective is down, there's not a whole lot much else you can do. You're just kind of there. But yeah, the only other kind of runner-ups to the ones that I mentioned before, Volskaya and Inferno Shrines, was Inferno Tomb of the Spider Queen at 143. Again, it's been in the map pool for literally forever, so everyone's got a pretty good idea of what needs to be done on it. Though I think it's a harder to execute map because you really do need to get value out of either the objective or the boss to really find a win. So, being able to manage that properly, and it can still snowball against you despite the changes to the maps, but it's a lot harder than it used to be.
Right.
And then Towers of Doom is kind of the runner-up to all of that. I expected Towers of Doom to actually be higher on this list just because it's kind of the only map that stayed the same after all the changes. But I still think it can be incredibly hard strategically to pull off sometimes. And the comeback mechanics are really tough, so not everyone just elects to go there right off the bat, I think.
There you go. And the last one, I think, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was Sky Temple.
No, I think that's the.
I think that's like
map.
the least picked. Yeah.
Oh,
That's why it's kind of separate.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert: least played map in NGS this season was everyone's favorite Sky Temple.
who does graphics like this?
I don't know. Blame
I
the
mean, I guess
producer.
everyone else figured it out. It's my fault. Anyways, moving right along, there was a couple stats that are near and dear to my heart for the whole league. These are the memes. I gotta have it here, guys. Number 1 B-stepper, Stixa, of course. He had 183 B-steps. Next closest was Blackened Avian out of Pigeon Stitches, 170. Let's see what we got for taunts here. Leonidas had 165 taunts, followed by Dark Knight with 150 taunts. This is just insane. Now let's see. Sprays. Hooked on Phoenix. Oh, that's incredibly awesome name. 258. And Mayong had 257. So
that was a close race.
Yeah, that one was a real close race.
That person's going to be beating themselves up. 2 more sprays and you won.
Yeah, and I should point out this is only through the regular season. So Mayong probably had a lot more, but that would have gone on past the regular season. So last one here, let's do dances. I think we all know who the winner of this one is. This is Stixa, of course, with 1,148 dances.
Every time I hear that stat, it just blows my mind.
Well, again,
I know the stat coming into it, and I'm still like,
yeah, I think Snowglare was abusing that a little bit throughout the season, where unlike the B steps, where there's like a limit to how many you can do in a row before it like stops counting, Dances has no such thing. So you can just sit there and keep spamming the button over and over and over again. So if you're like walking and doing the dance animation, you can probably get that stat up pretty insanely high.
Not to call Snowglare out, but he only had 61 dances. So I don't know, man. These guys are crazy. Shank B, I think he was on Save the Murloc, had 753. So it's safe to say, Arthanaut, he had 283, and he was on my team, not playing the game, obviously, just doing dances. So anyways, that's my contribution to the league. I hope everyone enjoyed that. So
I'm going to have to work on that. Yeah. Anchor a bush, start dancing.
There you go. All right, guys. So in lieu of everyone's favorite topic, which is kind of a bad segue, we're going to share our favorite highlight of the season in lieu of the top 5 highlights of the season. So let's just get right into it. Valkamer, as the guest, I think it's only fair that you go first. What was your favorite highlight from the season?
So mine came extremely early in Game 2 of the Grand Finals of Division C. So if Artha now can cue that one up for me.
Let's hope he does that now.
Maybe a little longer. We'll try to wrap. We're live though, so we don't want to go super.
I'm checking on my phone to see if it is.
I know. I don't know.
There.
This is the one bad part about having a.
Oh, he says my highlights up. So, as the viewers will notice there, this is not the highlight video, but this is our shirts that I designed. And so there's the CCS logo, and then on the back you can see I made this one for me. So it's got my name, and then it says, of course, only Wono believed is the hashtag across the top. And then it says, this number 2 doesn't stink. NGS Season 6, Division C West.
Oh my goodness. Are these for sale?
It's at Rush Tees whatever, so I'm sure they could be.
I'm all about it.
So
I mean, I owe it to you, Val.
My plan is to figure out some way to get to the frozen reaches of North Montana and get Wono one.
North Montana.
Yeah, because shipping it up here is expensive.
Yep.
All right, that was very good. I
didn't see the clip. If the clip got played, it says gag highlight up, but on my stream it only showed the T-shirt.
It was a gag highlight.
Yeah.
There is another 2 highlights from Valk. Okay, starting the real clip now.
Should be up in a second.
Li Ming trying to get another reset, a 1-4-1. Still,
boy, he is typing a lot.
Ready to be
oh, here we go.
We'll press 1 when done.
Oh, this is the charity team.
Brings down
so
and with
I was so much seeing myself in the place of the tanks in this clip.
Wow.
Like, here comes this Li Ming. She's low health. I'm going to chase in. I'm going to be a tank that does no damage, but I get the kill. She blinks away, orbs, combo, everything on him, and just, I was just like, that would have been me, the tank.
Boy.
So,
did you have another one too, or is that your top highlight?
Well, I had 2 clips that I sent Arthur now. I don't know if he got the other one, though I can post it later if we don't have it. He's just got one. So the other one at the beginning of the second match of the grand finals of Division C was somebody said, "Hi, Mom," at which point then Arcane typed in chat, "Hi, Valk's mom," which that was a personal highlight for me to have that make it through the grand finals. I had coordinated with Dominator that if he had made the interview, he was going to be there saying hi to Valk's mom, but Regen Red had their way.
Such good sports, those Rush B boys.
So
there we go. Valkamer, I appreciate the t-shirt and the highlight. Ziltoid, as the person who's casted the most matches on this panel, what was your number 1 highlight of the night? Sorry, of the season.
I didn't choose my one that I casted.
That's fine. You just saw a whole lot of
I had to go with the shameless self-plug of my own.
You did the Downtown Arrow.
You did the Downtown Arrow season. I took the Dragon Arrow.
Perfect. I did love this. Let's go ahead.
It was the only one that I could take, unfortunately.
There we go. Let's go ahead and count it down. 3, 2, 1. Show the clip.
5-on-5. I don't think this is the call from them, but here comes a play of the game from way downtown.
Oh, man,
Look at this Dragon Arrow. It comes in and catches 2. Reborn Knights did not see it coming, and Phoenix plays the price. Leap goes on the backside. They are able to take out the Zagara. Not before Devouring Maw goes and catches Zoo. Diltoid is there waiting with his Stormbow charge. Zera goes down. Sonya goes down.
And that was a good old clip. Yeah, I actually played NBA Jam this weekend, so I have that noise in my
From
head.
downtown. Yeah, no, I love that. I used
Yeah.
to play that a bunch when I was a kid on my little. Have you ever heard of a Sega Nomad?
I have not.
No.
It was basically a handheld Sega Genesis that you put the cartridge in the top. It had its own like powered up screen. I
That
would
lasted,
hide in
like,
my
a
bed
minute?
and play that thing up like till like 3 a.m. I'd go to school the next morning tired as fuck because I just spent all night doing it. But anyways, the only reason I plugged that one is because I've never been like on a highlight reel like big time, like never showcased anything. And it's nice. It's a good feeling to actually have something that really feels good to watch when you see something like that. So I'm going to take the shameless self plug, and if you've got a problem with that, too bad.
Well, just to bring you back down to earth and talk about my favorite clip, I'm not allowed to actually show my favorite clip, but it was the spider one.
No.
That was my favorite.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. That was a runner-up. We're not going to show that one. My favorite clip, because gotta love the memes, and anything with Benny Hill music is going to make me giggle.
Benny Hill.
Rexar, Benny Hill. So 3, 2, 1, go ahead and show the clip.
Oops, I accidentally deleted that scene.
Great. Go ahead and find. Type Benny Hill in the highlights. You are just really killing me, bud. Well, this is why we do it live, guys. Arthanel Pro. A shout out to Lulu. Arthanel Pro. Yeah. Anyways, so that was my favorite clip. It's not that great. It just has Benny Hill music. So you could have put Benny Hill music to the From Downtown arrow, and I probably would have loved it.
Hold up. No, I'm getting this in here.
Oh, you are going to get it?
I'm going to get it in here.
He's gonna get it.
This is usually where...
I got it.
Oh, he got it.
There we go. You got it.
Oh, every time it just gets me. Love
Well,
it. Did he delete the other scene with our faces?
Finish. We're back to black.
There we go.
Oh, there we are.
All right, so that was my favorite clip. Without wasting more time on that, Wono, go ahead. The final favorite clip of the season. Go ahead.
So Arthano was asking me to find a favorite clip, and I was at work today, and I was scrolling through, trying to like rack my brain for which clips I liked. And I came across this one that I remember. It's maybe not like the most flashy of plays, but I'm a sucker for really good Medivh play, especially when it's coming out of a team that's maybe in a lower division. So I was really impressed when I saw Regen Red bust out the Medivh and execute like a perfect Medivh flank.
I've seen this one, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go ahead and show it. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
And it is complete now.
Yeah, when I was looking at their ability to Oh, no. Oh. The 3-man, you have to have an interrupt here. They're going to get the 3-man mosh with a huge Orphea combo. The 3-man mosh, it's a dance party up in here. Montel Jordan telling everybody this is how we do it over here on the Regen side.
Good. And it is complete now.
Yeah, that's pretty good Medivh play. What else made it your favorite there?
It just the communication on the team, the follow up, the ETC mosh, the earthquake, everything was on point. Like that is play that we don't necessarily expect coming out of a Div C or a Div D team. So really cool to see the team utilizing a high skill cap hero like that and just following up perfectly on it.
Absolutely. And I've been told that we have one more final favorite of the clip. I have no idea what it is, but it's coming to us from Arthana. So without further ado, he's going to go ahead and show it. 3, 2, 1. Show the clip.
Monty's looking for it on field, right on the tip, waiting for that to find everyone's new though. Coming to get it. There it is on the backline 3. That's going to be no damage coming out during that mosh, but interrupted by Wono with the great Twilight Dream. Mongoose in trouble, barely getting away for now. But then it's going to be Uther falling first. but I believe he'll be back with Redemption in just a moment, sending out plenty of healing for his team, but they're not getting any kills yet, and it's going to be a triple kill. But look at Jason sneaking in the cap for the second objective in a row. That'll send us to game number 3. I didn't even see it, Mystic. I didn't.
She's just like a little spider. So Wono before the show said if that clip gets shown, he was gonna walk off the show. So here we are. Guess we're just gonna do the rest of it.
Down
just
panelist. Well done, Arthur.
Way to go. There he
It
is.
seems that we're taking applications for a full-time analyst position
Well, you
next
might be.
season.
Well, we definitely are. This is an analyst position.
Yeah.
Right.
We just mentioned that you had mentioned that you were going to leave the show if we showed that clip.
I had to be a man of my word, and Arthur is apparently out to hurt me. That was a personal attack.
Right here.
Love you, buddy.
Guys, I think that's it for the memes for at least a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into the Ziltoid shaking his head. Let's go ahead and get into the in-depth playoff discussion about the grand finals and the winning teams.
Ooh.
Ziltoid, why don't you go ahead and start it off with Heroic Division?
Heroic Division? Well, if it was a surprise to anyone, it should have been. CTV ended up taking the win. Slub Gaming was the champions this season. I think the writing was kind of on the wall from the start. Heroic Division kind of had a bit of a rough run. It was kind of split where there was the top 3 teams and then everybody else. Kind of made it so that even, the bottom 3 were once bottom 5, but 2 of them just up and quit. Which is just to show the caliber of the team. It's disheartening to go up against a squad of players that are so incredibly good that your hopes and chances of winning weren't very high. But there was some highlights within the season, at least in the top 3, where Revive took a game off them in the regular season, and Amusement Park actually beat them, and that was who took them on in the grand finals. But statistically, they were a monster. They had 32 heroes played for the season, which for a high-tier team is extremely wide hero pool. 81.3% win rate, and I think only one of those matches was actually a recorded loss. And like I said, in the regular season, that was against Amusement Park. Now, these stats don't reflect the playoffs, unfortunately, which it's just the way it's set up at the moment. So this is mostly to do with the regular season, but it really still ends up kind of telling the tale. And I think they still struggled against some of the top 3 teams. But when you've got so much flexibility on your squad, it definitely becomes difficult to draft against them. And they have power picks like Hanzo and Jaina. And Met was, aside from one player in Heroic Division, the highest impact score at 88.85. There was actually one other that beat him. If I can remember where the heck that was.
This is where Jason would do his magic.
Yeah, of course.
So we're
Which
not
was
going to
Tremor from Amusement Park. So, again, a pretty, all the top spots impact score throughout the season was pretty much dominated by Slub Gaming, Amusement Park, and Revive Esports. So they did lose Hunter CJR at the end of the season and into the playoffs, and despite that, still managed to clutch out the top spot throughout the playoffs. So if you really want to see kind of the best that NGS has to offer at the current moment, that is your Heroic Division champions, CTV. Every single one of their players is very good. I did an interview with Matt earlier in the season. I'm hoping to get through even a couple more of their members in the near future on my next expert segment, so that we can get a little bit more insight onto how these teams like to play. And that's really all I got to say about Heroic Division. When you got a strong team like that, it's disheartening for everyone.
There you go. Zilto, are you ready to talk about A division?
Yeah, certainly.
All right, let's get on into it. And our grand final champions,
Dread Pirates.
Dread Pirates.
So I actually kind of anticipated that this might be our grand finalists even before the end of the playoffs. But what really sold me was their first 2 rounds of the playoffs, both the quarter and semifinals. In both those matchups, they came in very strong against, even some teams that Lion Speed was their first setup, and Lion Speed had been picking up some steam near the end of the season. As they were a roster that was expected to actually perform quite well. I think even Wono took them to be the winners of A division all the way back in our early predictions.
Yep, that I did.
And and I think they tried to make that accounting for themselves, but Dread Pirates seem to have been able to gel together quite a bit entering the playoffs, and they kind of just ran over Lion Speed. It didn't really even seem that close. And in the next matchup against Nobo Esprouts, where they were expected to lose, they also ran them over. Yeah. And again, it didn't really look that close. Whereas their kind of across the pond opponents, which is Queen's Consorts, they're both during both of their showings didn't quite seem consistent, but didn't have that level of just play power that I was seeing from Dread Pirates. So getting into the finals, I was kind of picking them to take it, and it did go. They did drop a game, actually 2 games, 2 Queen's Consorts. It did go the full 5 games between those 2, and it was a hell of a series, and definitely probably one of the highlights of the season. If you really want to watch a close matchup between 2 teams, Queen's Consorts and Dread Pirates was a really good matchup. Mm-hmm. And the real power behind Dread Pirates this season wasn't really even individual play. They, while all had consistently good stats, were not actually considered the top of the rankings. Not a single one of their impact scores actually exceeded 79 or 80%. So it was actually more about, but they were all pretty close to each other. And I think that that's kind of the core of all of this, is that in the end, it was kind of them coming together as a team and executing the drafts and the compositions that they knew how to play very well, which is, the major reason why they came across with the grand final victory. They banned a lot of Maiev and Zeratul, but their favorite combo, and this one was one that I enjoyed watching them pull out ever since they picked up the Lurker in the midway through the middle of the season, was the Varian and Tyrande. Taunt into Lunarfair into Hunter's Mark typically meant somebody was going to die on the enemy team, and most teams had struggled very much to actually deal with it. Queen's Consorts was one of the few teams that I saw find a way around it in, I think, Game 4 on Towers of Doom against that composition.
Right.
Or it was Game 3, one of the 2.
And by Game 4, it was probably getting a little too late to figure out how to beat it.
Yeah. They had a really good run on BOE, and they like to run Artanis on that map, which of course isn't that big of a surprise in my mind. But in Division A, you wouldn't actually see Artanis as much as you'd say see it in Division C. And so they really leveraged that, and they actually went 6-0 with the hero. That's pretty intense, win percentage on that map with that hero in particular.
There we go. Is that all for Div A, Mr. Ziltoid?
I mean, we could really get down into the stats and stuff like that we saw, but I really, in the end, think that the point being more than the statistics, right, is that what brought Dread Pirates the victory and the overall Season A is being able to stick together as a cohesive team and work together to make those victories happen through just good team play, and that was consistent throughout the playoffs and a bit of the regular season, which, they were a team that I like because they grew throughout the season. They got better and better, and that's always what you want to see happen.
Absolutely. Let's move on then to Division B. Let's go ahead and talk it out, Mr. Wono. What do you got for us from Division B?
So Division B ended not maybe the way that everyone expected, it ended with a 3-0 victory for Virtual Murky Slayers out of B West over Ghillie Sharks out of B East. I don't want to call it controversial, but whenever you have East meeting West, there's always kind of that uncertainty because outside of some scrims, you never really know how the teams on either side are going to line up against each other.
Right, you don't have any idea.
Yeah. I mean, you hear whispers that, oh, this team scrimmed this team, this was the result. But scrimmages are kind of hard because you never know who's subbing, who's trying new things, who's trying to hide their strats, whatever. So it's always interesting to see when those two coasts come together.
Now, you said it went 3-0, though.
It did go 3-0.
Virtual 5-0.
No.
No?
No,
It's
it's a best of 5.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. I can't count. That's
Best of 3.
You're going best of 9, buddy. That's a lot of games.
Competition committee, pay attention. Best of 9.
So, Virtual Murky Slayers is a team that we know quite well. We've talked about them again quite a bit over the course of Nexus Edge. A team we're pretty close with, and obviously, I was cheering for them just because I'm closer with them than I am with Ghillie Shark. We play them more. I have friends on the team, and there's a bit about that coastal pride where you want to say, we were beaten by the best team. Like, we want to be beaten by the best of the best, right? But I don't know if anyone quite expected the 3-0, especially since Ghillie was looking so strong going into the Grand Championships as well. They were hot off winning B East. I think their last game was against Newest, and I'm pretty sure they won that. I think it was a 2-0. So they were looking really strong. They'd been a long-standing team. They'd never quite made it past the East Finals, so their first time going to the Grand Championships, I think they had a lot of momentum and a lot of fan cheering behind them. But Virtual Murky Slayers just proved to be too big a raid boss. And some of the games were closer than a 3-0 kind of gives away. But I think overall, Virtual Murky Slayers handled them fairly handedly, and obviously it shows in the 3-0. So let's take a little bit of a breakdown of Virtual Murky Slayers. What makes them tick? Why were they the best team in Division B? And I think a lot of that falls upon just how flexible of a roster they have. So they run 6 players. I'd say about 3 of them play in almost every match, and then the other 3 kind of rotate through. So there's no real hard subs. It's almost everyone gets pretty close to equal playing time and plays in most of their games. But what's also interesting with that is they don't have anyone who's particularly on one specific role. More, they each kind of have a hero pool that spans maybe a tank or 2, a healer or 2, some assassins, and maybe a bruiser. So it lets them be really flexible in their drafting, where even if they've committed to, say, Malfurion in the healer spot, they can still flex that player out of it because they have 2 or 3 different players who play Malfurion at an acceptable rate. So it allows them to be really dynamic in draft and also really hard to counter when you're drafting against them, because even though one player is locked in Malfurion, you have no idea if that's actually going to be who's playing it. You have no idea if you're then guessing, well, am I trying to ban and draft against this player's hero pool, or are they just going to switch it up on us?
Right.
So that leads itself to being just difficult to predict and difficult to counter. They also run some kind of untraditional or slightly off-meta picks that people maybe aren't used to running up against. We've talked about them. They play the Zarya. They play a lot of Asmodan, which I know he sees play in the lower divisions, but he doesn't really see too much play up in B+. Ragnaros in the offlane and 4-man. A lot of Phoenix in the offlane, which gives offlaners a big headache. A lot of Thrall. So they just play heroes that aren't played quite as often, which can maybe lead to, I don't know if I want to call it surprise, but just lack of experience playing against them. And if you look at the top 5 win rate plays, or call it, Heroes Profile calls it your top 5 allies, you have what boils down to almost a pretty standard comp. So they have Phoenix, Diablo, Malfurion, Thrall, and Ana. So obviously 2 healers there. They pretty much oscillate between Ana, Malfurion, and some Tyrande. Thrall is very popular. Fake News Nate plays a great Thrall. His Zeratul gets banned out almost every set, and when he doesn't, if you want to see some really good Zeratul play, watch Nate if he gets it through, because he's probably better than most of the Division A0 tools on that hero. But he plays a great Thrall when that's banned. A lot of Diablo, a lot of Anubrak, and a lot of Phoenix, like I mentioned. Maps, they like to, kind of like Dread Pirates, they like to take people to Battlefield of Eternity. They have some comfort on that map, but I also think it's just a map that doesn't get played quite as often, and it's also it has a different feel to it than a lot of the other maps that are played. The objective is kind of very polarizing. It pulls people away from lanes longer than other objectives do. So they kind of thrive where they put their opponents on the back foot and they can get an advantage because other teams just aren't as comfortable on that map. I know when we went up against them, we'd consider banning it over other maps that we felt worse on, just because while we may not be as bad on that map, it felt so bad going up against them when they were just so strong, and they could pull out things like a Zarya, which are strong, or a Hanzo for the race, or anything like that. That's pretty much it on like the stats I have on them.
Perfect.
Ziltoid, do you want to just chime in on anything, because
you're in
good experience playing on them as well, or playing against them as well?
Yeah, on the same team. I mean, there's a lot that you can talk about when it comes down to Virtual Murky Slayers. I really think the core of what makes them typically good isn't necessarily the heroes that they play. It's just typically how they play on the map. They can actually move roles and all that kind of stuff like that with very little struggle, and still manage to make effective good plays. They got good focus on macro, and then their team fight is generally just as good. So more than anything else, just the individual skill and the ability to shot call and identify good plays generally is what brings VMS ahead of everybody else, because they will draft unconventionally. And most people will be like, okay, well, I took a better composition all of a sudden. This shouldn't be a problem going into this. And unless you can, but if you're not executing the shot calls better than they are, if you're not executing the individual plays better than they are, then it doesn't really matter. And they proved that plenty of time. And what often looks like odd drafting is still very well thought out. They don't just blind pick things. They have rhyme and reason and purpose to everything that they do. So, in the future, anyone going up against a team like VMS really needs to come prepared with an idea of what they like to play and understand what it is the keys are to beat them, because in their current state, I've seen them beat the pants off of some of the top A division teams.
Right.
They are very good. So, but we also saw them lose to NUES in the charity event. So, I mean, they're not invincible. So, just a little bit of a nudge there at VMS. But no, great guys, great team, and really happy that they were managed to pick up the victory there. But we'll get them next season.
Love to hear it. All right, guys. So Valkamer has, he says he's going to return. He's working on Kids in Bed. We knew this was going to happen. If this was a recorded show, we probably would have taken a break by now. But we're going to move on to Division D. And we're going to go ahead and truck along. Your Division D Grand Finale champions were Boogan Squad. So notwithstanding my initial prediction of the Nexus Cats, which didn't quite work out the way I had planned it, Boogan Squad was the second pick that I had winning Grand Finals. They took on Frank's Furters, who as of last recording had not played their game. So we have since figured out who won the Division D East and then who went on to the Grand Finals. That was Frank's Furters. Boogan Squad took it in 4 games. I watched the first 3. The only game I didn't watch was the Frankfurt win, unfortunately. But in the first 2 games, Boogan Squad just had a commanding advantage of Frankfurt. It was fairly clear that they just looked very strong. They looked ready for it. And not only that, they took my advice. Maybe they did. I don't know. Hopefully they did. They banned out ETC. And I don't know if that was a really big problem, but they banned out ETC the whole series from what I understand, and they won in 4 games. So I want to say that had a very big impact. And I think that mostly speaks to Dallying Pig and his level of play on that specific hero. That was Frankfurter's tank more than anything. So, but getting into Bugin Squad, they have 3 heroes that they have 100% win rate on. That's Orphea, Li Ming, and Diablo, each with 6 games. So those are 3 heroes that they have an absolute chance of winning, or at least that's what the past would suggest. And then their other core heroes aren't bad either. Blaze with a 71% win rate in 7 games. Brightwing with a 71.4% win rate in 7 games. Raynor with 83.3 in 6. And Anubarak with 60% win rate in 5 games. So just really strong on a core group of heroes. As far as their maps, again, they have 3 maps that they are undefeated on all of the regular season. And these stats, I should mention, are through the grand. It doesn't include the grand final game. So it's up to that match. They have 2 games on each of Sky Temple, Towers of Doom, and Battlefield of Eternity, but they are 100% win rate on them. And what's interesting about that is Frankfurters, I believe, took them to the Towers of Doom for their final 4th game. And I don't know if anyone's seen it. I recommend watching it. It was a very, 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 very close game. I clearly only mentioned that Bugin Squad had a commanding lead in the games. Bugin Squad was set to lose this game. The Indalian Pig has joined the chat, so he could probably tell us a little bit more. Oh, he said, "Don't talk about it." Sorry, bud. So Frankfurters, Bugin Squad had captured a top siege camp on Towers of Doom. So you had the little whatchamacallit, the
Sappers.
Sappers moving in the lane, and the top fort Bugin Squad had already captured. So what happens when Sappers move in? You get a point, right? Well, the score at that time was, I think it was 5-1. 1 point, Frankfurters only needed 1 point on Bugin Squad. Maybe it was more than 1, but Frankfurters only needed to get 1 point or 1 boss capture on Bugin Squad, and they would have won it. They did the math quickly, and unfortunately, they didn't do it correctly, I think is what happened. Maybe it was 8-1, sorry. And with the capture by Bugin Squad of the final bottom shrine, they did, I think it was 5, plus 3 Sappers did 8, and it was like bang bang, just right before Frankfurters captured the boss. I was watching it live. I actually thought Frankfurters had won. If you listen to the casters, they thought that Frankfurters had won because they captured that boss. They got the last point, but just because of those top Sappers and missing them, you hate to see it. But apologize for making you live through that trauma again there, Daling Pig. But other than that, that was a really, really good game. I thought it was going to go to a game 5 and just be a very happy camper Div D analyst. So that's what's going on. Real quick, let's get into. I've been told I have to mention the Kerrigan stats for Bugin Squad. They had 6 games played with an 83.3% win rate. So that's pretty good too. So
it was banned out the whole season. It's weird. Did I cast that game?
Which game? The
The
Kerrigan?
Bugin Squad versus Frankfurters match.
You did. I think it was you and Mongoose.
I did. Yeah, I casted that. I'm pretty certain I did. I couldn't remember. I was just like, everything sounds super familiar, but I'm like, wait a second. I think I casted that game.
Yeah, I think it was you and Mongoose, and I think you guys had said, like, wait a minute, they got it.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah, Kerrigan, the boss capture was a little slow, unfortunately, but yeah, all they really needed to do was allow that turn-in to go in and stop one of those sappers in the top lane, and they probably would have won.
Sapper.
And the way it was split, they even had the ability to take one person off of the boss to go get it, and it was just kind of a shame. And you can't really kick yourself over those type of things.
No, that's not a loss.
We lost a match in the regular season versus Regen Blue because we didn't notice a sneaky little Jason sliding over the side and grabbing the opposing thing when we were winning at that point. So it happens to anybody. If you know
Right.
when you're in the moment, you just don't see everything happening on the map sometimes. So
And for me, despite being terrible, well, not only at Heroes of the Storm, but on Towers of Doom, Nexus Cats is just not our game, or our map rather. You'll love to see those like wide like swings and the last minute picks. To me, it's one of the more fun maps to watch.
It's what makes Towers of Doom intriguing because, I mean, Bugin Squad was like 1 for 20 points on the court. Like they were sitting there for a while. It was they were not winning most of that game, and then they just found the ability to kind of come back, capitalizing on a few mistakes and made it through. And that's the thing about Towers of Doom. That's how it goes. But yeah, Kerrigan in particular was banned out pretty much that whole series, if I remember correctly. It was constantly picked apart by Frankfurters. They had no interest in going against it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Dallying Pig is asking that we no longer. That's a pretty good idea. I think if Arthur is ready, we'll go ahead and we'll give us a little bit of a break. Take a little potty break. Get some water. Brush our, throw a comb through our hair, and we'll be right back. We'll call it 5 minutes, guys. Stick with us, and we'll be right back. Coming up after the break is going to be Valk on the lightning round questions and the Div D coverage, Div C coverage.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and give it to the break. Ready? 3, 2, 1. See you later.
Time.
Yep.
1.
All right. Hello again. Oh, you're supposed to say? I thought I was supposed to say.
I am the host of Nexus Edge, mister. All right, guys.
Valkamer's really trying to steal your job, man.
I know. He's
Nexus
better dressed
Edge.
than me
We're
today.
back. Now
Yeah.
it's 100% more baby.
Yes, we have been joined by an extra special guest, Valkamer's kid number 3. Say
She
hello.
doesn't get a name, I guess.
Official name. That's what's on the birth certificate.
I can only hope. So,
Little Valk number 3.
There you go. So the team of Valkamer and kid number 3 is going to go ahead and break it down for Division C. Hopefully Arrow is watching because it's going to be a little bit about Regen Red. Take it away, bud.
All right. So we were the number 2 seed in the West. I was definitely hoping for West Best Division C. Sadly, that was not meant to be this time around. I've got a few stats here for Regen Red, and while I caught most of it, what you're going to hear about is probably one more the Battlefield of Eternity and how quick it went, and 2 referencing back to the play that we showed as a clip with that Medivh ETC and some neat things there. So Regen Red, strictly statistics beginning of the season. I do a lot of statistical analysis for our team, and that's a big basis of our scouting. They weren't necessarily the highest MMR team. However, in conversations I've had with Arrow, with stuff that I've seen posted on the Regen Discord, they really were doing their homework. They were trying to better themselves, and I think their march through the playoffs really showed that. I think Rush B is a fantastic team. We've had some extra outings with them, and I'm still going to tease forever. Dominator is a Division A MMR playing in Division C and whooping all of us. But they played really well. But when it came down to draft, when it came down to executing, when it came down to keeping your opponents off base, Regen came out on top. They played 15 different heroes in the finals. Each game had a different set of heroes. They did not duplicate. And so how do you in series ban against that when there's just new teams to be, or a new squad, so to speak, with what they're showing? So some stats to go throughout the season. Keith seems to think that they should be in Division B, and I think that is by the end of the season, but not where they started at the beginning, and they just came out and thumped people. So Arrow's top healer was top played hero was Garrosh. He had 8 times on Garrosh, and he was a 63% win rate. And I too do not know exactly how to calculate the impact score, but I am showing, if my eyes can get through this, a 74% win rate there. Carve picked up Thrall 8 times. Zolkin had Junkrat 7 times, and Shui Leoric 10 times. So I will freely admit to playing a spy for Division C West, and that is I did a full statistical analysis on Regen Red and provided it to Dominator for the finals.
There's no rules against that.
No, there's not.
And the fact that they did not ban out Leoric was super annoying to me. I was like, no, this guy loves playing Leoric. And I mentioned Repsychic, and hopefully I say your name right because I've heard
you did say it right.
People
that is how you say it. Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah, congratulations.
I mentioned Repsychic playing Anna, and 10 times 70% win rate. Oh, the Leoric win rate was 90%, which is just stupid. Like if you see someone above 60%, maybe we don't have them play that hero. Just a thought. But they were able to pick up different comps to execute. Wono, you talked about the idea of them playing Medivh, who's a very high skill cap hero, and playing it far better than many teams higher ranked than them would have. And again, I I still wanted Rush B to win. Again, coming from the West, I was trying to root for the home team, so to speak. And the thing that completely won me over at the end of it was Repsychic's interview. The guy is retiring from NGS. Yes. He's crying during the interview, and real men cry. And like I could not have asked for Rush B to still win at that point. Like Regen won, and they should have won. And I think in chat I quoted Horton hatches the egg or something. It should be like that type of thing.
Horton hatches the egg.
It's a good book. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. What? You're not up on literature for kids? Come on now. But man, I've got to give it to Regen. They played well. I still hope to go against them, and I'm going to continue calling them Delicate Regen Red until they figure out how to play games at midnight, because we in the Pacific time zone are just too late.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure Arrow has a full spreadsheet to decimate me, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I've seen the spreadsheet. Yeah, it exists.
Yeah, color-coded, highlights.
It's pretty. I've seen it.
Yeah.
They are very pretty spreadsheets. I made a copy. He might not know. I think he said it was for Nexus Cats. So that's for next season. Valkamer, anything else to add about the grand finalists?
Finalists.
Oh, holy smokes. Battlefield of Eternity, 10 minutes or less. I think it was like 9:26 was the final time. If you can't attack, or if you can't defend your immortal, at least attack theirs so that you reduce the shield. Because as soon as they had a full shield immortal, they just said, we're pushing as 5. And the caster mentioned it, and they said, if they can get 1 kill, this game is over. Sure enough, it happened, and they tore apart Rush B at the seams.
There we go. Alrighty. I think that's a wrap on the grand finalists. Congratulations again to all of the teams that won their respective divisions. The games I watched were phenomenal. Keep up the good work. Keep your practicing. Valkamer's kid number 3 is likely going to be put down for a sleepy time.
No. I was just turning on a light behind me so that I wasn't having just huge shadows the whole time.
There we go. All right. Before we move on to Valkamer's lightning round questions for the panel, we're going to go ahead and honor a community member of the week. And really, this is a community member of the season.
Let's not push it.
Okay, fine. Community member of the week. This is Arthano. And he doesn't know that we chose him. We actually had a discussion about a different member of the week, and he's been chosen. Arthano does an incredible amount of work behind the scenes. He ran. He said he's typing some not so nice things. He ran the All-Star Impact Scoring, kind of the fall. We'll call it Fallout. People who had questions about that, people who are concerned. The system is great. I really loved it. I'm believing it. Arthano spends countless hours on this show. I think he actually had to downgrade his setup so we could do this show live, because he's already been working a ton on getting things ready for season 7, getting things ready for the off season, getting us ready for this show. We all live very busy lives. Valkamer came from work, came to the show. I came from work, came onto the show. I think all of us did. And Arthano does a great job of getting us ready so we can do this every week. So shout out to you, bud. As much crap as I give you on air, you're a pretty good guy. So he gave a heart emote. So guys, what nice things can you say about him? And it could be nothing.
Yeah, I want to thank Arthano for putting this team together. He had a great idea at the beginning, or I guess between seasons, of an analyst team. We didn't really know what it was going to look like or how popular we were going to be. And honestly, I think we've said it, but at the start we thought there would be like just us watching it back. And if we got like 3 other people watching, we'd be just thrilled with it. So the response from you guys has been amazing. And because we're the on-air personalities, we draw a lot of that credit, but really a lot of it goes just to Arthur now for the planning and the commitment and the wrangling of us and our horrible schedules, trying to find us guests, trying to find times that line up for everybody, all the editing and behind the scenes work. Really, he does so much for us. And while we're maybe the faces that you see, everything you should be thanking Arthur now for, because none of this would be possible without him.
100%. Ziltoid?
I mean, if I was in charge, this show would be in big trouble. I'm pretty lazy by nature. I put effort into some things, and then I have a hard time. And I never really got into doing live stuff like this. And this show is the first kind of step into it. I've been in public situations when I had a band. I'm not exactly shy, but I never really got onto camera. And this was the first show that got into it. And Arthur now is kind of the reason that I was able to kind of get the confidence to get into it. And despite having some issues, even at certain times throughout doing my job or whatever, he's kind of always, been there to help me through it. So I really appreciate it. And this helped me get into casting too as well, which I've actually really enjoyed and did quite a bit this season. Way more than I ever did beforehand. So big shout out to Arthur now. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be feeling as good about doing things publicly and getting involved in NGS as I have. And it's a big deal. And a tiny little shout out to Jason, because he's also been a big supporting member for me specifically, but also the whole squad here too as well.
Definitely.
As he's done a fantastic job from both sides of that. So, definitely Arthur now, thanks so much, buddy. You've done a really good job for us. And then, small little shout out to Jason.
Teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny. Yes, very nice. 100%. Arthur now, thanks a bunch, man. And keep up the good work. He says, love you guys. Sorry about the clip, whoa.
All good, buddy.
It's all good.
Don't let it happen again.
Yeah.
It's all in good fun.
All right, guys, it's time. Valkamer's lightning round questions. Mr. Valkamer, go ahead and tell us, how is this going to work?
All right. So we will rotate between the panelists. Okay. And we will be going in alphabetical order of your handle. So Turd, Wono, Ziltoid.
Okay.
You have 10 seconds to answer the question, and you will receive 2 points for answering the question within 10 seconds if I deem the answer to be satisfactory in any way, shape, or form.
Oh God, we're getting scored for this?
Yes, Arthur is going to keep score for me. So thank you, Arthur, since I just put you on the spot. Because my hands are somewhat full, and I have to try to sift through these questions.
Yeah, there you go.
Finally, if you have the 10 seconds expires, your comrades can get a 1-point steal.
Whoa.
And much like whose line is it anyway, the points don't matter. However, perhaps, given enough effort, I will send the winner a #OnlyWonoBelieved shirt or email.
I have a tendency for really long-winded responses. Is that factored into this 10-second time?
Yes, actually.
Got it.
Ziltoid's out.
Yeah, just count me out. I'm out.
Well,
no way this is working now.
Hopefully the randomness of it will allow you to have some very easy questions that can be derived in a shorter manner for an answer. So,
I can't wait.
We'll see.
All right. Starting off. And let's see, that's what I was doing here on my phone. I was trying to find a 10-second timer.
10 seconds goes by so fast.
Yes, it does. So from the end of the question being read, you will have 10 seconds. How do I tell this to do not a tone?
Oh my goodness, this is going to be hard.
All right, well, apparently it's reflection at the end of 10 seconds, which in 10 seconds you will hear that tone. But I will do my best to stop that. All right. So this is your steel tone, my brethren.
I got it. I'm ready.
Okay. First question. What talent just makes you groan when you see a teammate pick it in a match?
Might of the Nerazim. 100%. Sorry, that guy.
2 points. All right. Wono, what do you think can be done to encourage more bronze and silver teams to join NGS?
Oh
Turd
god, I got the
Herder
hard
needs someone to let him play.
Okay. So this topic actually came up in suggestions earlier today. I'm going to try and be quick. I would love to see the clan system that's been talked about, or some sort of better party finder for people so that they can come together easier. And then just better branding, not necessarily from NGS, but support from Blizzard. So along the lines of like in-game support for NGS.
All right.
I think that's two. Give him.
All right, 2 points. I was going to take a point from him since he took
That was a good
too
answer.
long.
He had like 4 answers.
I know. You got to know when to stop. Like, not me in Division C.
That's why I'm screwed, guys. This is over.
All right, Ziltoid, what outside of NGS Heroes Media do you consume?
Or NGS, outside NGS, Heroes Lounge, Heroes Hype, pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything.
Twitch.
Okay. So my follow-up question to that, which you'll get there, Mr. Turd Herder, is...
Hold on real quick. I want to point out Slexia just gave 200 biddies for Valk's mom. So shout out for Valk's mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slexia gets 5 points. Good luck catching her.
Yeah.
So the follow-up question to that is, what Heroes celebrity Turd Herder do you follow?
Hero celebrity. Probably the closest one. Does Grubby count?
Oh, I love Grubby.
Except he's now not a Heroes celebrity.
So then the next one is probably Tetcher. I really like following him on Twitter.
Okay.
He's got some good stuff. He has a baby.
Hey.
Well, no. What happened to Division E?
Division E was amalgamated by Division B because we were just too powerful last season.
That's a good
So
answer.
all the teams from E became B somehow?
No, I was D last season. So D was so powerful last season that they needed more teams to sustain that power.
All right, I appreciate the follow-up question, but no additional points will be given. Ziltoid, what ultimate do you see as the hardest to counter? Ziltoid.
Void Prison.
Oh.
Oh, coming in right at the gun.
Yeah. All right. Turd Herder, what do you see as the ideal number of teams per division?
Oh my goodness, this question. It's tough to say. I some of the divisions had really long or lots of teams in them.
And for the steal?
Between 12 and 15.
Oh,
That's
a point for Wono. All right, question for Wono. What additions or what additional Zerg do you think could be added to Heroes?
I do not play StarCraft whatsoever, but that being said, maybe an Ultralisk, because that's one thing I know.
You're gonna have an Ultralisk hero and an Ultra.
Sure, why not?
All right.
Ziltoid's gonna steal this one. He's the only one who plays StarCraft.
No, there's no steal. Unfortunately, this one is going to have to be more that Billy Madison style answer. Nowhere in your rabble did it make any sense or come close to an answer. I award you 0 points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Can I re-answer with Overminds because Veggies is feeding me answers?
No, you are past the 10-second timer, I am afraid.
What about Mr. Zergington or Zergensdale?
No.
No.
Don't make me take a point away from you.
That's not fair.
This one, Weenus. You're screwed, by the way, Ziltoid. What is the edge question count from Valk this season?
I'm going to go with 2,000.
I'm okay with that. 2 points.
Yeah.
He was decisive.
He was very decisive.
Turd Herder, how many divisions helped create a rule change or clarification this season?
Well, I know you did, so I know at least one.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, because I know some other stuff, but I can't talk about it. So yes.
All right. It was only one.
Yeah.
that I saw.
There you go.
All right. Wono, what has been your favorite Heroes menu music as of late?
Heroes menu music. I really liked the Resistance one they had with the Deckard skin and the Blaze skin.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Well, this one's answered by the fact that my presence is here on screen. So sorry, Fun Buns. But yes, there was a future plan to have Valkamer in Nexus Edge. So
Nice.
here is Mrs. Valk taking baby Valk number 3. Oh, and
Binky down. Binky down.
Binky down.
Ooh.
For all of you first-time parents out there, just pull the hair off and give it back to the kid. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Immunities. That's how you build up immunities.
DeWitt's question we've somewhat already answered, and that is, have I won the bracket challenge yet? Ziltoid, this one's free, isn't it, for you?
I believe so.
The better
Okay.
question is, who on this panel actually has the best score?
Well, that would
Not
be,
me.
That would be Wono, as the
Did
only
I?
person who believed in
Oh.
CCS.
And
Maybe.
Arthur now did give me a nice little reminder that I was going to mention later. For all of you guys out there that think you have the winning bracket, make sure you go ahead and resubmit it, because that is how we'll be calculating who has the best bracket out of those people who have resubmitted it. I can tell you, Slexia has not resubmitted her bracket yet, but she's claiming that she has. But there is one person that has submitted their bracket for resubmission. So if you think you have a decent bracket, go ahead and resubmit it, guys. Due date is tonight. There we go. So, questions to me. Let's go into the final round here. Valk Lightning questions. So I got a
Okay.
little bit of a surprise for you guys. So
This one's actually a decent one for you, Turd Herder. Edge questions. What plans do you have for an off season as Nexus Edge?
I can tell you that we have a little bit of an off. We're going to go ahead and do one episode. Me personally, I'm going to be getting ready for my wedding and doing stuff like that. I will also hopefully be able to stream some.
Sounds like we're going to have somebody else take up the throne for off season.
There will be at least one episode I probably will not be able to do. So,
all right. This is a great one that I'm going to leave for Ziltoid. So, Wono, you get the other here, which is, why do we have a limit of 9 team members? What harm would there be to a 12-person roster?
A 12-person roster is just 2 teams. Just split into 2 teams at that point. Like, you're just hogging players. The 9-person roster is just shy of being enough to field 2 teams, so I think it makes sense to cap it at 9.
For
That's too
reference,
much, even in my opinion.
that one came from me as well.
I remember.
And we have somewhere in the realm of 15 to 20 loosely connected to CCS. And so we played multiple games in Heroes Lounge, meeting the minimum 3, and then here's 2 subs. So we
get anything done with 15 players. Jesus.
You don't forfeit the match, obviously.
I mean, that's good, yeah.
yeah.
We have the USU Blue squad. We have the main CCS squad. We have I call them the Adopt That Label Bros, but they call themselves the Subi Bros, but they used to call themselves Mopar. So depending on what car...
This is getting complicated.
Yeah.
Depending on what car Troy picks out next, I'm sure that will be their next team name.
I think that works in a league you don't take seriously.
Well, we're Division C.
What does that say about me? I'm Division D.
You don't even play!
Well, that's true. Yeah. All right, for the record, I do play Heroes of the Storm sometimes.
All right. So,
last question.
This, I think we're gonna have one more buzz in for the final question, depending on how the points are. So, Ziltoid, if you had one surprise to pull on Turd Herder the days before his wedding, what would it be? Examples include shaving off an eyebrow, dyeing his hair a strange color, or using super glue to attach his hands to his butt, like Strong Sad.
Have you seen The Hangover?
Yes.
That's what I'd do.
Oh my goodness.
Just
have a crazy bachelor party?
I realize Chad is going to flame me for this, but no, I have not seen any of the Hangover movies.
It's all right.
Sorry.
For the record, I just had my bachelor party this past weekend. That's why we're doing it today and not this weekend.
Trap him on a roof with a mattress, lock the door in the middle of Las Vegas. So and forget about him because we got drunk.
Oh my goodness, that would be so bad. So like, look, any of these things, the issue would not be me. Like it would be like, oh, this is funny, haha. But it would be, it would be,
Rocio.
Mrs. Herder is her name, future name. She would not be happy.
You also don't want to wake up in the middle of the summer on the roof in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too great either.
I'm liking Weenus' suggestion in chat, the chastity belt with lock.
Oh my goodness, pure herder.
Pure herder.
I'm not going anywhere near that.
Yeah. All right, guys, that was a good game.
What's our points total, Arthanow?
Yeah, that's a good point here.
We got 8 for Turd Herder. We got 9 for Wono, and we got 8 for Ziltoid.
Because he got the 1 point steal.
Big Pog.
Do we have a final Jeopardy?
No, I just win. Screw that.
Yeah.
We do. I think Turd Herder has it.
We do have a final Jeopardy, but I won't be playing, guys, because it is Turd's Talents, everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, we've decided, Arthanow and I decided that we were going to do a very special, very live edition of Turd's Talents. So put away your Googles. No assistance from your computer screen. Dowling Pig is shouting, Turd's Talents is back. It is indeed back. Everyone.
Hands where we can see him, what?
Yeah, I think usually no one answers these correctly, so...
Hey, we get like one.
Do you want to do raising hands? First one to raise their hands gets it?
No, blurt out. Just go.
Just yell it out. All right, guys, number 1. And I hope Arthanow has the Jeopardy music or something. It'd be awesome. But I'm not going to put him on the spot like that, because you a good dude, my friend. Number 1, shield capacitor.
Phoenix.
Any other guesses?
Oh, we're going to guesses? Yeah, I think that's Probe.
Which one is it? I didn't hear.
Probius.
Probius is correct. Mr. Ziltoid. Getting some points on Wono. Valk, you're playing for me, so you get to keep my 8 points, okay?
Oh, perfect. I can lose as many points as we need.
Yeah. Thank you. That is just great. Okay.
I got your back.
Let's go with unstable anomaly.
Rainer. No.
Unstable
compound.
Is that Medivh?
It is not. Ziltoid.
I know it, but I don't.
Wono, you should get this one. The support hero.
Oh, wait. Is it Brightwing?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Unstable anomaly.
I don't play that talent. I don't play Brightwing very much.
I don't know what talent any of these are. So
Unstable anomaly.
Shield talent.
No, that's a poly talent.
Oh yeah,
Makes
it's
it
the one that does
explode
AoE
after.
damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember.
It's got a sheep on it. It's a pretty good one.
I
got too
Brightwing
excited
and-
about the word unstable.
Who knows?
All right, guys. Here's a good one. Spatial echo.
That seems like a Probius one too, but
They can't all be Probius.
No.
You know what? I'll give you a hint. It's not Probius.
Yeah.
None of these are Probius.
The first
yeah,
one
I saw the answer in chat. I know what it is.
That is the correct answer. So we're going to give 1 point to Josh. I think that's J-Sil, right?
Yeah, that's Veggies.
Yeah, there you go. 1 point to him. Congratulations. Hired goons.
That's Gazlo. Yeah.
Oh, Val got it, I think, right?
I got 1 point.
Yes, doing us good, baby. I saw BMed in chat, so I was hoping that he would get that, but Val got it real quick. Here's a good one. Circle of Protection.
Medivh.
That's Medivh.
Yeah.
Yep, that was easy.
Untalented Medivh, force of will to everyone around.
Ooh,
Here's a really good one. Circle of Valor.
I guess that's like an Imperious talent, but I don't know what it would be. But just off
I don't
the
play
name.
Imperious, so I don't know if that's correct. Actually, I do know because I have the answer.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's not?
So it's not.
Dowling Pig is guessing Anduin? Question mark.
No. Circle of Valor.
All right, I won't let you suffer anymore. I made that talent. That was completely made up. And I didn't make it up. Arthanow made it up.
What?
So, yeah,
You can't do that.
The Heroes Dev team is like, oh, that's a great name. I'm writing it down now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a great name. All right. Last question. All right. So this is the last talent. All right. Yeah, that's cheating. It is a cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well. Deep Shift. I had to be very careful on how I pronounce that one.
Tassadar.
Oh, who said that at the same time?
I finished it first. He started it first.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, there you go.
On camera.
Yeah, you have to show your hand.
All right, here we go.
Otherwise,
Wait.
yeah, I chose paper after you chose rock.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Shoot. Oh, yeah.
I picked the paper.
This is the worst thing ever. You know what? Ziltoid wins just because he did not take part in that.
He didn't have the correct answer.
I think we all lose.
Yeah, everyone's done. All right, guys. So we got a little bit of time cut out here for interview questions from the crowd. If you are watching and you have some questions for the panelists that you want to be answered live, go ahead and give them going. While you guys are asking your questions, I'm going to go ahead and give a quick reminder that if you're feeling good about your bracket, go ahead and resubmit it. Today is the deadline. Also want to give a quick shout out or a quick reminder about our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Heroes Nexus Gaming Series. They're doing good stuff. Definitely a good good cause for your Patreon dollars. So if that is something you are interested, go ahead and reach out to anyone that is a supporter in Discord. I've actually been, excuse me, that was gross. I have been asked to be on the Patreon committee, so I haven't done a whole lot yet because they're just kind of wrapping up the prizes, but that's something that I'm really excited about being a part of, something I'm really excited about. Hopefully, just to be a lot more passionate about it and remember the URL. So there we go. So we have at least one question.
Yeah, we have a question.
Why don't you go ahead and ask it?
So Weenus asked, what was our favorite cereal?
That's a good question. And I am going to go first. I cannot pick one. Cereal is my favorite food by far. It is the best dinner food. It is the best lunch food. It is the best midnight food. Cereal is the best. Arthur and I was saying amen, but if I had to choose one, I like Wheaties a lot. Just that like sugary flavor that goes on with it.
No, you were just brainwashed as a child in Chicago to like Wheaties.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's on the box. We're winning championships. You got to take Wheaties.
He won a lot of championships, so I bought a lot of Wheaties. So
Arthur now saying crave.
I don't know. Is that like healthy cereal? What's wrong with you, buddy? Anyways, Wono, what's your favorite cereal?
Canada has a lot less cereal options than America does. Like, we don't have a bunch of the fun ones like Fruity Pebbles and like all those fun flavored cereals.
What is this lawless land?
But I'm partial to Frosted Flakes. I think there's something nice about the simplicity of them.
Ziltoid's giving you a
face.
face.
A moment there to say they're great.
They're great. Oh,
those.
Yeah, those are not
gross.
health snacks. Yeah.
Those are gross.
Arthur just shared a picture in chat. Crave is the chocolate-filled. I don't know, chocolate. Oh, this box says now
it's
with
like
more
Captain
chocolate.
Crunch with chocolate in the middle. I mean, that's not bad.
It's bad chocolate crunch or Captain.
Ziltoid, what's your favorite Canadian cereal?
Actually, my favorite cereal isn't Canadian. It's because they don't have it up here because I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. But it's French Toast Crunch.
I loved French Toast Crunch. It was available like briefly, I think.
Yeah, I know. It was like the freaking golden, I don't know, like that's such good cereal. And you can never find it anywhere, but it's still my all-time favorite.
I don't actually know. So I fashion myself as a cereal aficionado, and I don't think they sell it here either. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Maybe they're off the shelves everywhere, but that was one hell of a good brand.
Yeah. Oh, man, I like that. All right, I think we got a couple extra questions. Before we get to that, always full mango, 1,500 biddies. Shout out to you, my man. Thank you very much for your support of Nexus Gaming Series. Very nice. going on to the next question, we have, will there be Nexus Edge trading cards? I don't.
I'm not making them. You want to make them? Go for it.
Anyone can do it. Yeah, it'll just be our blooper reels and or our faces. Because Weenus is going to find it.
Those aren't going to be worth anything.
Here's a good one. What childhood movie did you see that still haunts you to this day?
Oh, I've got a good one.
Go ahead.
So when I was probably about like 4 or 5 years old, my younger brother and I were downstairs watching a freshly rented movie from Blockbuster while my parents were upstairs watching a movie that they got too. That movie was none other than Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. Let me tell you, as like a young 5-year-old child, nothing was more frightening than zombies and like voodoo cat people. It was
because it was real. The problem with that movie for the kids was like in the context of Scooby-Doo is that it's more real. Like all the other ones are always bad guys in masks.
Mm-hmm. There were no masks. This was just voodoo magic and like horrible, scary zombies. And to this day, it like even though it's a children's cartoon, I am frightened.
Don't feel too bad. I scared the crap out of my 5-year-old with that movie. I thought he'd enjoy it. It was a bad choice. He was not happy with us.
What is your childhood movie that scares the bejesus out of you?
Ernest Scared Stupid or something along that line.
I remember
I watched
that movie.
that when I was like 7 or 8. I think it was even like my birthday party, and down in the basement of my parents' house, I went upstairs while no one was watching, and my sister was saying, "What are you doing?" I like the movie.
Yeah. It's very good.
I think he finishes the whole thing like defeating them by giving the guy a kiss. No, like the movie can't be that scary.
No, but it was a pretty gross kiss.
It was super slimy.
Yeah, no one wanted to do that, especially not Ernest.
Ziltoid.
Those movies. I'm kind of cursed with the fact that I've watched a lot of my old childhood movies that scared the bejesus out of me back then, and of course they seem pretty dumb now.
They're pretty tame. Yeah,
watched it.
The production quality is pretty bad. You're saying?
Yeah, I'd say the one that actually like I thought was the scariest for the longest time until up to the point where I actually watched it again was Congo.
Oh,
I watched that when I was 9 or 10, and that movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, thank you for that movie. It took me a while. I couldn't even watch it. I had to leave.
Yeah, and so I did eventually obviously rewatch it. Actually, not that long ago, and it's a pretty stupid movie. But
yeah,
you know, that's how it goes.
From that same era, I might have been a little earlier than that. And for any of my friends from the Meme Factory, get a kick out of this. It was the movie Critters, one of them. Critters 2 or 3 or 4, whichever one it was. It was my birthday party, and I got a brand new sleeping bag. But earlier in that day, me and my dad were watching Critters because I was a big boy now. I'll just watch whatever I want. And to this day, those little fur balls actually follow me around wherever I move, no matter how old I get, no matter how big my bed is. They are underneath my bed, and the only way you can get rid of them is if you try. So that's it's a little bit of a deep cut. That one hurts all the time. So, all right, let's get into the final question. Well, actually, Slexia, Homeward Bound. That was a very scary movie. Very sad. Very, very sad.
Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah. Some of these are memes answered. Moist Sweetness says Critters was his childhood. Not alone here, but final question, because I know some of us have to go here. What is your favorite non-HOTS video game? Go ahead, Valkamer. Start us out, and we'll just go through the list here.
My favorite non-HOTS video game. Why am I so not ready?
There's got to be some parameters around that.
Yeah.
Like all-time, console, something. We need some type of parameters.
Just answer how you want it. Pick your answer and justify it.
Yeah. All right, I'll go first then, because I have my answer. It is my favorite game of all time is the Tomba series. Tomba, guy with pink hair or something like that. He ran around. It was like a weird platformer RPG kind of thing. The IP died in like the 90s. Really love that game. I could play it all the time. It's the only game I've ever considered doing like speed runs. Arthanel likes to give me crap about it, but he's wrong. So that's my favorite game of all time. Woe's never heard of it. I don't know. It's fine.
It's okay.
Valkamer,
I'm the child on the panel.
it wasn't. It came out 94, and then one of them, the second one was like 2000 in North America.
Yeah, 94 is like when he was born, dude.
1 year before.
Oh. I didn't know you were that much younger than me.
Yeah, dude.
Anyways, moving right along. Valkamer, what's your favorite non-hot?
So for a video game, I'm going to go with Star Wars Rebellion. It is a galactic warfare-based game. You're sending people on missions, and there's a board game that looks extremely like it that I'm going to find. And it says it takes about 4 hours.
It's a long one.
Yes. So,
it's the number 1 or number 2 two-player game on like a very well-regarded board game website. So
yeah, and the game had its shortcomings. Yeah. It came out in like 95 or whatever, so it's just a couple years younger.
It was actually hard to get on several. Like there was like only one like console that even carried it. It was on the computer. I can't remember one of the two.
It was PC.
Yeah, it was PC. So it was. I don't know. Like most people didn't have the systems to run it. It was hard to get at the time when it came out. But yeah, I did end up playing it because my uncle had it. So
all right. Well, no, Ziltoid, which one do you want to go first for your favorite non-hot?
I'll go because my answer is probably going to be shorter than Ziltoid's.
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy bet.
Yep. So my favorite game of all time is probably the original BioShock. Oh. So I started playing that game with my dad when I can't remember how old I was when it came out, but like old enough to start playing some like horror-y video games, but still young enough that it really had like a pretty profound effect on me. And it's just, I loved the idea of the underwater city gone to ruin but like dated back. So it had just the really cool vibe. The music was on point. The art was on point. Like such a cool atmosphere. The gameplay was really smooth for the time. So I just really, I never got to play 2. I played BioShock Infinite. Loved that game as well. But BioShock 1 will always have a place in my heart for its crazy good story and just overall atmosphere and design of game.
Very nice. Ziltoid, go ahead, bud.
I gotta pick one.
All right, you can pick.
I know.
Like, how?
Bono has to go in about a minute here. So
I won't take too long. Okay, so...
Famous last words.
No, I know. There's a bit of a theme to it. Yeah, I'm probably going to be sticking to Star Wars themed stuff. And it is a bit of a toss-up. Knights of the Old Republic is probably one of my most played, the original. But I actually enjoyed number 2 more.
That's exactly what Valkyrie. They're all chatting each other.
Yeah. So Knights of the Old Republic 2 is probably like, I'd say the top. The successor to that, I got really into Star Wars: The Old Republic. So
yeah,
I would say in like sheer amount of hours played and just like loving a game, I don't think I've sunk more time in a game than I have Star Wars of the Republic outside of Heroes of the Storm. The Heroes is probably the closest one to it. And then my final answer is something going back to my childhood. Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight Outcast.
Oh. I replayed that. It didn't hold up from there, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Tell us about it more.
It was just actually the reason I enjoyed it more than anything else was it was the first time I got big time into online multiplayer. I would actually go onto the servers. The 15 or 20 people would just go up. I mean, this is back in like dial-up days. It was an FPS brawler on it, and I was actually really good at like 9-10 years old. I actually won a lot. In fact, I took that further into Jedi Knight Academy.
Yeah.
And I pretty much just stomped over people when I was playing that. I was a little older though, so it Yeah, but I enjoyed that game not necessarily for just the storyline itself, but actually for the online multiplayer.
So if he gets 2, I want a second one too.
Go ahead.
All right. What was dying here?
Dark Age of Camelot was the precursor to WoW, and I think that as far as world PvP, it was just amazing back then. Graphically, systems wise, yeah, the game hasn't kept up. But one of the problems, and don't hate me, Ziltoid, with with Star Wars: The Old Republic, is how much you are zoning in the Old Republic. Where in Dark Age of Camelot, you went the whole way from Midgard. If you had to walk the whole thing in Dark Age of Camelot, would have taken you hours, it felt like. And so it paved the way for some of the MMOs we all know and love today. I'm so nerdy about that game. You know, I want to buy the board game of the one. I have a stack of files probably this thick of handwritten notes of how to design Dark Age of Camelot 2.
They are building it, Camelot Unchained.
I get it, and I'm signed up for it. I've got the Warrior Forever $250 pledge, whatever it was, and it's gonna be good. But I would contest that there's certain systems that I think I've designed that would still work better. Theirs is going to be like the ultimate PvP MMO, and I'm all for it. I'm excited. I'm going to play it all the time. But it's going to lose some of that PvE stuff that they just aren't focused on. That is an appeal for some players.
Very good. Guys, thank you to chat for staying engaging throughout this whole episode. I want to give a quick shout out to all of the behind the scenes people. This week we have our research analyst Key sticking with us to the grand finals here, doing a little bit of Regen Red and some Dread Pirates research for us. And also, if you didn't catch it out on the streamies, Key was voted the analyst of the season. Well deserved. Incredible. Guy did so much work for us. So shout out again to him. Guys, that's it. We did it. We got to the end about an hour after our estimated time for this one.
We always do
Yeah,
that.
this one will be short. It's no problem.
Yeah, it's fine. We had nothing in the...
We should know
fine.
better. But
I know. It is what it is. I would like to thank all of our panelists. Wono, why don't we start it out? Where can the people reach you?
Twitter at WonoHots. On the Discord. Twitch, I'm also WonoHots. I don't currently stream or cast or anything, but keep your eyes peeled for Season 7. Maybe.
Ziltoid, what about you? Where can the people reach you?
At PS Ziltoid on Twitter and Twitch. Twitch.tv/PS Ziltoid. You'll catch me on casts. I'm also trying to get a stream schedule going, so you might see me more regularly outside of just casting.
Perfect.
And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, catch me on Discord here in NGS and other areas.
Awesome. I am Turd Herder. You can find me at Turd Herder Hots on Twitter. You can find me at Turd Herder Hots on Twitch.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, got that one back. Haven't done any streaming, so...
But the option's there.
Too many options. So there's that. I have that. I have my second account, Lawman Turd. Chad is asking how long they're going to have to... Never mind, I'm not going to say that out loud. Valkamer, thank you to you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying on this exceptionally long episode and bearing with us and all that stuff. Where can the people find you?
Well, the primary place to find me for NGS is going to be in Discord. I am the heel. I plan on writing more suggestion essays to make Key and Arrow go nuts. Arrow is my hero, but there are times where I really think he wants to punch me in the face. So I will keep that going in the off season. There will be some content and the opposing voice at times. I believe I'm a nice guy, but I'm also pretty good at playing the heel, and I'll continue to do that because Division C was the best, and one of the things that they had was someone that they really wanted to hate, and that was me.
From my perspective, you guys are both great dudes. So keep up the good work. Guys, this is Turd Herder here saying adios, amigos. Remember to stay safe in the Nexus and take your hots to the edge.